now I am with Nicole Voigt, Managing Director and Partner and Globally Leading Metals for BCG, the Boston Consulting Group. Nicole, everybody knows the Boston Consulting Group. Would you like to tell us about the part of activity that brings you here?
Yeah, so thanks a lot for having me. Yeah, we are a large leading strategy consultant. As said, I'm leading globally metals for BCG. And metals is a large emitter, of course, of CO2. And that's why we are mainly interested in recycling. So how can we get, sustainability, circular economy to work? That's why I'm here to talk to the people who do this recycling work, because my main clients, which are the OEMs, certainly, ask us, where do we get the green materials from? And this is where we like to help them, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, yes, that's interesting, because often we find that at this conference there are not very many OEMs directly, so this is perhaps part of the reason?
Yes, I mean, we try to navigate the ecosystem, and I think to making circularity really work, we need to work the ecosystem. And the ecosystem starts with, of course, the miners, the processors and the OEMs, and then finally also the consumers and the shredders. And, we have the role to play, I guess, to bring those people together, because only if we make a linear economy to a circular economy, recycling will really work. Yeah? And that's why we have the talks here.
So what do you see as Boston Consulting as the market drivers for this change?
Well, we are actually very positive in the last years. Yeah, in the beginning, the industry started feel good. If you do recycling, if you put out a sustainability report, you did it because you want to feel good and you publish this. But in the last 3 years, it really changed. So recycling becomes an active part of your business. And, you're asking why? Because materials are scarce. Yeah, you need to get the materials, and so you need to share of the recycling. You need to get low carbon materials. That's also where you get recycling. And also you need to make sure that the CO2 footprint of your overall product, look at the car, look at the fridge, needs to fit. And this is why we see now really a business case. It's not only feel good anymore, so people are willing to pay more. Not all, we are just in the beginning of the journey, but you see that people pay a premium, are able to pay a premium, and this makes me very confident actually that, recycling and circular economy will take off.
But you think that the new recycling economy will mean higher costs all round?
Well, yes and no. Of course, in the beginning, it might incur higher costs, yeah. But then hopefully we have also economies of scale. And then we bring back more material, collection becomes much more efficient. And so at the end, I would say there's a positive business case because costs might go down the road, plus we make a higher revenue because of the green premium. And those two things together will finance the green transition.
Yes, because for many years the recycling industry has been present, but there have been criticisms that there hasn't been enough investment because these were not necessarily big enough companies. And you feel now that that may be changing?
Yeah, that's now changing. Plus also we see the legislative support, and we had a lot of talks today and presentations we get from the European Union, but also in other countries. We see that legislation now makes, how can you trade scrap, what's defined as waste versus scrap, making requirements how much circularity share you have in your products. So all those things going hand in hand, will make the needle move.
Which type of companies are you particularly looking to meet while you're here?
Well, actually, we're looking at the plant engineering companies who provide the recycling technology. What are the different processes, to which customers would they fit, what's the cost efficiency. So this is basically to get the big spectrum, then to talk to our OEMs and say, well, did you look at, those broad spectrums, new things are coming up, because this industry is very quick in innovating, so you need to stay at the forefront. So it's educating, of course, ourselves, but also bringing this knowledge to our customers.
And is there an area of the world that you see the fastest development?
That's a good question, how you measure fastest development. Of course, I would argue Europe is on the forefront doing things, but we should never underestimate developing countries. So we had people on the stage today out of India who implement a sorting system, a collection system. So I think they move as well, maybe not as known, in our region, but So we will see different speeds, but all regions will move. I'm positive, and I think we need to keep the positive spirit to move things forward, to convince people, because it needs mavericks in the industry who do the first step.
Well, I wish you a great conference and lots of good contacts. Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thanks a lot for having me.